Over the last week or so, there have been plenty of times where the ability to choose has cropped up in our lives. All of us are constantly having to make choices, so much so we probably don't think about it too deeply. Some can be trivial. Do I get up when the alarm rings, or do I take a few more minutes to lie in bed? Do I have a coffee or a tea this morning? Brown shoes or black? Most of these probably won't have a major impact, but they are still choices. Perhaps you disagree. Declan was a big football fan, and his team were playing in a big final. He had the tickets to go to the match with a couple of mates. Bronagh, his wife, was on holiday in Malta with some of her friends, and would not be back until 2 days after the game. All looked good. The day of the match came, and Declan prepared to go with his friends. However, just as he was going out the door, he got a phone call to say Bronagh had been taken ill and was being flown home that night, at the same time as the kick-off. What does Declan do? Thankfully, Declan is still married, as he chose to pick Bronagh up from the airport, as he knew where his priorities were. However, in an alternative universe far, far away, another Declan chose to go to the football match. Bronagh kicked him out of the house for abandoning her, and for the first time in his life, Declan found himself homeless. This affected his work, so he ended up getting fired, and he wished he had made the better decision. He forgot the golden rule. Happy wife, happy life. Often we find ways to complain about things that go wrong in our lives. We tend to forget that we have been the ones who have made the decisions and taken certain paths, have not realized the consequences of those actions. In Matthew's Gospel this Sunday, the first son is reluctant to do what his father requested, initially refusing to do as he'd been asked. On thinking about this, he changed his mind. Instead of thinking about himself, he realized his father needed help. In his actions, he proved to be a helpful and loving son. The second son promised he would, but did not carry through. His actions showed he lacked respect for his father. We can easily see the first son was the better son. Paul reminds us we need to put others first before ourselves. It is our actions that prove our love for others, not our words. As sons and daughters of God, we too make promises that we often do not keep for one reason or another. It is at these times that others suffer because we have not followed through. We have lost our integrity, as Ezekiel describes in the first reading, and fallen into sin. In a way, we have died a little. But Ezekiel reminds us that we can choose to change our ways and renounce the wrong we have done. Likewise, to those who we have promised, we can apologize, make up for the wrong we have done by putting them first above our own self-interests. In doing so, our spirit is lifted, and we come back to life. Jesus reminds us that we should not be competing with others, but working with them so that all benefit. Putting others first is more important. In the alternative universe, Declan had put his love of a game before the love of Bronagh. On his own, he could not affect the outcome of what would happen on the pitch. By putting his wife's needs first, he would have been demonstrating his love for her through his actions. Today, we are being asked, do we show our love for God through our actions, or do we put our own self-interests first, then complain to God when things go wrong? We have been given free will to choose. If we can make the right choices and put others first, we will be showing our love for God. If we can be like Jesus, we will be richly rewarded and live. If we put ourselves first, we will gradually die inside, and our heart will become as hard as rock. The good news is that we have every opportunity to change our minds and turn back to God. We show our love through what we do for others.